I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your cattle market summary for the week ending March the 17th, where this past week was really one for the record books. A lot of interesting things happened there. We had some record-breaking donations for those that were hurt so much in the fires that happened in the Texas Panhandle, western Oklahoma, and southwest Kansas. So it was really something that was great for this whole industry and great to be Americans. We saw that. We saw a fierce digging of the heels from your feedlot guys right in the face of a big basis when we have a board that doesn't keep up with cash at all, and we saw those guys still hold their ground and demand more for their fat cattle, knowing that the packers are short of cattle and knowing that the supplies of market-ready cattle are short, and they really showed a lot of strength, a lot of leverage in their trading there, and we're seeing a resurgence of negotiated cash trade. It's a great thing for the industry. We saw this market really jump up there, and one thing that we hadn't seen for a while is we saw feeder cattle and fats bringing the same price. You don't see that very often. In fact, the weighted average on your cash fat trade, not the board, because the board's 10, 12 bucks back in the dust there somewhere, but we saw the weighted average on your negotiated live cash trade actually higher than what your CME index is based on an 800-pound steer. Now, you might say, well, you know, we haven't seen that for a while because it used to be based on a 750-pound steer, but it hadn't been really close for a long time. But let's look at the things that happened through the week on the board. Still looking at your April contracts. Live cattle futures, Monday was up 15 cents. Tuesday was down $1.42. Not sure where that come from. Wednesday should have been up the limit, but it was up $1.37. Thursday should have been locked up the limit from Wednesday, but it was up $1.50. Friday was up just 12 cents. To end the week at $119.32 at the end of the week, which was up $1.72 for the week. Your cash trade ended up with a weighted average of $128.75, so close to $10 higher, and gained $3.50 on the weighted average price compared to that up 172 on the board. I mean, it just absolutely does not make any sense, and we're finally seeing some guys that are in the industry and know how lopsided this thing is coming in and going long on the board too, even though they're long in the cash market or buying calls or something, trying to take advantage of this, because those two have to come together. And as tight as supplies are, as good as meat's selling, as fast as these change speeds have been, it doesn't appear like cash is going to drop that fast, that hard. It may back off some, but this board is going to have to come to it here in the next couple of 3 weeks. And so, you know, it's a pretty good bet. Not sure why more people aren't doing that, and even those out fronts are looking like a sure bet. June contracts ended the week at 109.67, which is $10 off of what our April is, and August at 105.45. I'm sure we're going to drop some down in the dog days of summer, but you would think that we could get it a little higher than that at least. Feeder cattle contracts on April, Monday was up $1.42. Tuesday down 67 cents. Wednesday was up $1.27. Thursday up $1.85. And Friday up 107 to end the week at 131.62, which is a premium to what our cash market is, what our real-time index is, your CME index is. And those gained good ground this week too. But your board ended up 131.62, up 4.95 for the week. Your May contracts at 130.37, and the next several months that are traded are real tight in there to what we're selling at right now. Like I said, your fat cattle trade was very active and strong. Again, the Fed Cattle Exchange helped it get going on Wednesday there, and that is really aiding trade and helping get this negotiated cash trade started. But through Thursday there, they'd sold almost 105,000 head of cattle. May have been a little more cleanup trade on Friday, we don't know about yet, but that's, you know, we've had several weeks in a row of these big negotiated trades, and it's just there's nothing healthier for the market than seeing people, seeing these packers having to come in and battle each other and haggle over prices, and that's the way things need to be done to create a healthy market. But you remember we started out the last week with some early trade for a 3 or 4 week delivery at 122 to 124 from some weak sisters there. We've had that about every week. Everybody has no confidence in the market. What about the guys that sold about 3 weeks ago at 121, 122 for delivery coming up this week, when these guys that sold on the spot market are getting 129, or maybe up in the northern plains 132? Serves them right. That's the way it ought to happen. But we had sales from 127 all the way up to 132. Northern Plains is finally getting to see a premium now because, like I said, market ready supplies are so tight, and especially in Iowa where they're used to running behind, and they're actually getting top price for their market. But your weighted average on a live basis, 128.75, up 350 compared to the previous week, and could change a little bit with some Friday sales. Your dressed weighted average on a steer was a little over 208, up over $6.50 from the previous week. Slaughter was good, not quite as good as the previous week, but 585,000 for last week's slaughter, down just 2,000 from the previous week, but up 35,000 from the same week the year before. Box beef cutout values gained big time. They've had about 3 weeks here of really strong showing. This early spring is helping. The guys are wanting to get out and start grilling already in their backyards, and we're really seeing a strong dressed beef market there. But choice carcasses were up $7.44 for the week, and that's on the average trade at $221.56. Selects up $6.28 at $213.54. Feeder cattle, those going right into the feedlot, $2 to $4 higher. With a full advance late in the week, we should see another strong showing here in our early Monday markets this week. Calves, we're not seeing a good test of calves in the plains and in the Midwest. We just don't really have any calves to sell. They sold all the old crops and not ready, of course, to sell many new crops. They want to put some more weight on them. But the southeastern calves is where your market's at, and those are selling good. Got a lot of guys getting orders in for those, shipping them in, getting them ready for grass. But we're coming close to the end of that, because if you get some in here this week or next, you're barely going to have enough time to get those things all straightened out, get their shots, and get them foolproof before you turn them out in those big pastures. And you don't want to have to fool with them after that. If they're going to break on you and get sick, you want them to do it where you can get your hands on them. But firm to $5 higher on those shipped in calves out of the southeast, and that's really the only place we see a good test of your market. But you look at an individual quote late in the week on Thursday in Pratt, Kansas, a little after 3:30 there on Thursday, had a big load of 817-pound steers, bring 133.10. So back home here at Canyon, Texas, working for DV Auction, and we'll talk to you on Wednesday.